In today's episode, I want to unpack how do you handle the price objection when someone says your prices are too high. Now, if you're doing high ticket sales or if you're doing on the phone close or webinar or you name it, you're going to have to overcome objections. And I want to show you 3 simple ways to do it. You're going to want to write this down. All right. You ready? All right, here we go. So can you just tell me how much it costs? Here you go. Well, I mean, it'll only be $3,000. Oh, that's a little higher than I expected to spend. Now, here's where you can make or break your sale. You're going to probably say, well, yeah, I can understand that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't agree. Because you wouldn't have priced it at $3,000 if you thought that it was too high. Right? So instead, here's what you got to do. The number one thing you're going to do is isolate the objection. Isolate the objection. You want to make sure, is it really just money and price or is it something else? If you're watching this video, you're about to make a whole lot of money. All right. Welcome back to Monetize with Marcus podcast. Now, in today's episode, we are dealing with this whole price objection. There is always going to be someone that has a hard time associating the value to your price. And you might hear that notorious thing, well, that's a little more. They might not say your price is too high. You know, they might say, that's a little more than I expected to pay. Or they might, that's a little steep. Or the worst one is, well, let me just think through it and follow back up with you. Trust me, they're not following back up. Like, you do not pass go, do not collect. Hey, listen, if you're expecting to pay a bill with the money of the person who said they're going to follow back up, you're going to be late for that bill. Okay? So how do you now take control over it so you're not lingering and wondering and following up and sending emails and text messages and wondering why you're getting that? If you like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, no. Here is what you do. Here are 3 simple things that I want you to take action on. Now, I'm talking specifically if you're on whether it's an enrollment call for a program, whether it's a sales call for a high-ticket program, whether it's a proposal call where you're proposing, let's say, a contract or for them to work with you and gathering details of specifically what you offer. Because even if you're in fitness, if you are an event planner, if you're in fitness, you're going to ask them what's their goal, what's their fitness goal, how often they want to work out, what are they looking for, and you're now going to propose a quote based on that number. If you're in the event space industry, okay, what day you photographer, videographer, whatever it is, you're trying to figure out what is the client looking for, what do they want. Now, in coaching, it's not the same thing. It's a little different, especially if you're in the space that I'm in, where you are now packaging your intellectual genius, your information that now teaches someone how to do what you do, how to get a result using information you have. It is not so much this idea of just figuring out what they're looking for. It's also seeing if they fit your process. You should not be doing custom coaching. You should have a process that's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 to get them a result. So if that's the case, your job is to frame that process that gets them to that result. So here are some ways to overcome objections. You should be writing this down. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're at your job, you're in your headphones, you're on the treadmill. I'm proud of you for working out, but you're going to want to write this down. All right? You ready? All right, here we go. Here's the first thing you want to do. If someone says, you told them the details of the program. Here's an example, all right? I'm going to be the caller and you. So the caller says, so can you just tell me how much it costs? Here you go. Well, I mean, it'll only be $3,000. Oh, that's a little higher than I expected to spend. Now, here's where you can make or break your sale. You're going to probably say, well, yeah, I can understand that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't agree. Because you wouldn't have priced it at $3,000 if you thought that it was too high. Right? So instead, here's what you got to do. The number one thing you're going to do is isolate the objection. Isolate the objection. You want to make sure, is it really just money and price or is it something else? Is it that the person doesn't see the value? Is it that they don't have the resources to make the investment or they don't see how they can make the money back? You got to figure this out. Is it an informational gap? Like they feel like they need to know a little more or do a little more before they're ready for it. Is it intimidation? Is it limited belief that they just don't believe in themselves? You got to figure that out and isolate it because this determines whether you convert the sale. So if you know it's $3,000 to get them X result and that person feels like the program is worth it, but I'm afraid I don't know enough. I'm afraid that it's 5 weeks. It's a group setting. Some people are afraid of showing what they don't know. So they feel like it's not the program. They're just intimidated by the opportunity or they're impressed by you. Like they actually found you impressive. They learned your information and they like, let's say with I don't want Marcus to know I don't know how to grow my business or this, and this, right? So you isolate it. Here's how you do it. Let me ask this. I'm going to just throw a name. Let me ask this, Sharon. If price was not an issue, let's say it wasn't about money, if it were free, if we solved the price thing, or let's just say it was 200 or 300, not saying that it is, make sure you word that. Not saying it is. Be honest with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how certain would you that you'll be ready to move forward if price were not the issue? Now, if she say anything other than yes or I'm a 10, then it's something else. She said, I'm a 3. Okay, what lands you at a 3 if price isn't the issue? What else is it? We've now isolated the money conversation. Well, just right now I got so much going on, so tell me more about that. Well, I got my kids, I got this, and this. I'm also trying to grow my business. I've been struggling with this. I just had to let go of staff. Also, it's operations. Yeah, it's more so operations, and right now money's tight. Okay, so what do you feel like you need for money to not be tight? The way to make money. So marketing. Yeah. Do you have a course that you can sell for $1,000, $2,000? No. All of the things are the things you offer. Right? We've got to pause right there because I'm in the giving mood. I decided to offer you a free gift. Absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about turning your ideas into online income, but how am I going to tell you to do something and not provide the resource for it? There's so many questions that people have online about what should I post? How do I get my engagement up? How do I get people to click the link in my bio, buy from me? What should I sell? Whether it's an ebook, an online course, how much should I charge? How do I launch? How do I do a webinar? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you that you can utilize to learn how to literally take the services that you do or the ideas you have and build a successful online company. Go to www.monetizewithmarcus.com. My gift to you. You're welcome. So you isolated the thing and you're guiding that person to realize the value of you're eliminating their pain. What you got to think about with sales is it's not really sales. Any person that's going to reach out to you already want the thing that they came to you for. They already want it. You didn't create the desire. You're directing it. Marquell Russell taught me that, right? You don't create the desire. You're directing it. So you can't make a person hungry, but you can direct the hunger towards your item you sell in terms of food. Same with coaching, went on down the line. So you isolate it and direct them towards it. Now, if you isolate it and you can't direct them, you got to get out of that scarcity mindset by backing out and not taking a person on you losing money. You're not. It's always more than enough buyers. It's very limited. Like it's always more people willing to buy than people willing to create, right? Building a business, creating a substantial offer is a tough thing and everybody's not willing to do it. So after you isolate, here's the second thing you're going to do. You're going to isolate it, and immediately now, after you isolate the need, you need to now create a clear picture of price-value contrast. Here's what I believe. I think that anytime somebody comes to you, if you sell anything, it should always be 5 times the value to the price. That's just my belief. If the price is $5,000, the value should be 10. If the price is 10, the value should be 20. I think anytime someone comes to you and they had to carry their problem for this long, the first thing in your program, your process, should be to alleviate the pain. You should quit working for free. How did social media hire all of us to be their workforce? We're on the app posting videos, going live, creating reels. We do not get paid when we create content on social media. They do, by selling our content to advertisers. But how do you actually build an online business using social media? I want to break it down for you and give you access to it. There's 5 simple steps. I'll tell it to you in a few seconds. Step number 1 is client attraction. I'm going to show you how to actually attract clients that will happily pay you what you're offering. Step number 2, how to capture them. How do you get their emails? How do you get their phone numbers? How do you get them to show up to your event? Be on your Zoom calls. To what I refer to as client dating. It's where you nurture a relationship with people to get them to say yes to whatever you're offering. And I'm even going to show you what type of content to create that gives you brand visibility and brand recognition. I call it content to cash flow. You get access wherever you're watching this video. You'll see it in the description and you'll see it beneath this. Let's get back to the episode. So let's just say, here's the example. Now I want you to always see yourself as a doctor. If you come to a doctor and you need to have surgery and they can't get you surgery for 2 weeks, they're going to give you pain medicine in the interim to alleviate some of it until they can solve this long-term problem. In your business model, there should be some prescription for immediate alleviation, but also an assessment to tell them this ain't going to solve the problem altogether. But when we start, we'll be able to do this, 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 and this. That's price value contrast. Person can clearly see how you're going to alleviate the pain. They can see the value of how it gets them there. But here's the immediate. You're the expert. And the third thing. Here's the third thing. Oh, man, this is so good. Here's the third thing I want you to do. You've isolated. You've done price value contrast, and you stacked the value to make sure that you got 5 times the value to the price. 5 times the value to the price. I'm going to say it one more time. 5 times the value to the price. Third thing that you're going to do. The person still has an objection. You want to clearly map out to them where they were before they came to you and get them to answer. Let's just say we don't move forward with this, ma'am, sir. You know, I want to make sure you're not stuck. What are some things you're going to do to get you to blank that you said you wanted? So a person said they want to get to $10,000. They're currently at 2. I get it. I understand that right now, investing $3,000 is not something that you're currently able to do. Don't feel bad about that. Here's what I want to know, because I want to make sure that a year from now you're not stuck or in the same place. What are some things you're going to do once we get off of this call? Just want to know to see if I can offer some value to you to get you the result. Now, if the person can't answer what they're going to do, you just clearly mapped out to them that they're going to be in the same place a year from now. They're going to be in the same pain. You isolated, you position your price and value, and now you've shown them that they don't have the answer to what they will do next. Then this is where you enter in as a knight in shining armor and say, do you mind if I offer you some coaching surrounding that? Person says, yes. I would suggest that you don't just continue to do what you're doing, because that's what got you here and what led to this call. You mentioned in the call blank, 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 and you wanted blank, 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 blank. So let me ask this. From a creative standpoint, let's just say it's $3,000. This is where you begin to make suggestions of how they can come up with it. Some of our clients like to just slap $3,000 on a credit card and just make payments each month. Much like how you pay a light bill or an electric bill, you can now finance your expenses and allow yourself the opportunity. On $3,000, you're looking at about $100 a month on a credit card. Now, some people don't have credit cards, so what they like to do is this is where you come up with funding and finance solutions, because they told you in the first objection that it was the money thing. But you just now came up with ways that they can get access to the money. If you've done all of this and they still say no, you keep your solution, let them keep their problem, and pronounce a benediction. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. I'm sorry, I'm a church guy, right? Because you've done everything that you could to try to help them. And at this point, do you realize that what I just gave you was never a sale? It was guiding someone to how they can solve their problem. This has been another episode of Monetize with Marcus podcast. I hope that this helps you in overcoming that price objection and closing more sales in your business, aka monetizing. I'll see you in the next episode.